School social work book haul. One more. There's one more. Oh, and all the free resources. The books are literally everywhere around my house. A few more that I recently got. Hey, this is Lauren, and this is Social Work Scrapbook, and this video is super exciting because it's for my school social workers. You know that I love school social work. I've been doing it for quite some time, and I get this question a lot. What books do you recommend for school social workers, especially those new school social workers? But I actually got this question from a social worker that I've had on the channel before in an interview. I'm gonna link her video down in the description box below because you want to check that one out. We're about to go through all of these books, all these resources, but first I want to answer one question that I get a lot, and that is, do school social workers need a clinical license? Are you focused over there? Yeah, that is my new LCSW Roadmap course that is going to be available for purchase after August 1st to help you get to that clinical license. And to answer that very first question, no. For most schools, you don't need a clinical license to be a social worker. All you need is a license, like an LMSW. That's what I had when I was hired on. And then I later earned my LCSW more for my own personal freedom and professional growth. So what I mean by that is when you do get a clinical license, you do have the freedom to step into different roles that LMSWs are not going to be considered for. That's going to be more of those intervention, therapeutic spaces. A lot of these books I'm going to discuss today are sharing activities and therapeutic activities to utilize in groups, in classrooms, with students one-on-one. And that's a lot of the work that social workers are really wanting to do in their heart. And then sometimes we get lost in the case management, the attendance piece that the school is expecting of us. So we're going to go over books that are going to help in all those realms. But if you lean more towards wanting to do one-on-one and therapeutic type of interventions, then you're definitely going to want to start thinking about going the LCSW route. And I keep pointing this way because, again, I don't want you to forget that I have that resource for you, the LCSW Roadmap. That resource is going to be linked in the description box below. And let's get started. Okay. There's no particular order to these books. I'm just gonna start with what I grab. I am in the middle of switching offices right now, so this is the perfect time to do this video because my home office is currently just filled with everything. I'm waiting to transition to a new role, so new books coming soon, I'm sure. The first one that I have here is called Mindful Games. This was one that was purchased by my district and requested by several social workers. The reason why, and I'll try to do a real quick flip through this book, is this book actually comes with card games that goes along with it. So the book expands on those card games, and this, as it says, it's just sharing different activities, different meditations to do with kids and with children and teens, even family activities in here. I kind of flip through and show you one that I really liked, which is melting ice. So this is where we hold a cube of ice until it melts so we can notice the difference between a feeling and a reaction. So I know this sounds a little out of the box, but hey, that's what we social workers do. So the life skills, and it tells you in here, is focusing and seeing. And then the target ages for this would be older, children, teens. So leading the game, and then it gives you the talking points right there on how to start this. So before you pick up the ice, notice how you feel. What thoughts are you having, right? So we can process this with the client. What thoughts are you feeling before you pick up the ice? Because we have this expectation, right? Before we kind of know what to expect. What thoughts are we having? What are we feeling in our body? And then now we're going to pick up the piece of ice and hold it until it melts. It might feel uncomfortable, but it's safe and it won't hurt you. And so literally by scripting, it's telling you what to say, and it goes through 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then it helps you kind of process that along with the client. Really good go-to starter activities. The next book I was actually given by my own supervisor when I was doing supervision at the schools, which is the School Counseling and School Social Work Treatment Planner. And I've clearly used this book up a lot. I don't try to mark in my books because I like to make copies and things. But the reason why this book is so interesting is because it will give you the disorder, right? And it'll show you what behavioral definitions to look for. So if we're looking at depression, so to speak, we have chronic feelings of sadness, crying. It's telling you problems sleeping. So it's giving you almost the symptoms to look for. You can write some in as well if you want. And then it's also laying out the long-term goals that you want to list on any IEPs, on any type of treatment plans that you're doing. And then it gives you short-term objectives with the therapeutic intervention attached. So this really makes it easy to document and to stay abreast of all of that. And it also helps you to identify which interventions in here are EBP or evidence-based, because you'll see the little indicator. I've talked about this book before in some of my videos, I think day in the life video. But that little triangle right there will tell you whether it's an evidence-based treatment plan. The next book that I have was actually gifted to me by another social worker, and I actually have two. So I haven't cracked these open quite yet, but I do want to mention them to you. This one is Relationship, Responsibility, and Regulation. And this is trauma invested practices for fostering resilient learners. So this one I can see right off the bat is going to be very helpful for me in training different staff, because as social workers we do train staff and parents, and we hold those kind of psychoeducational groups. So it has a lot of graphs in here. This one is the ARC framework for understanding what drives our behavior. So teachers love these types of visuals. So that's that one. And this one is just honestly something I want to keep on my bedside table. It was already in my living room. I had to go grab it. But this one I'm really interested in cracking into, because this is solving the dropout crisis. So really looking at that 9th grade year. So for the other high school social workers out there with me, I work with a lot of at-risk teen parents. This is typically the age where at least I've been seeing them having the most difficulty in 9th grade. I'm excited to see what I get from here, but stay tuned because I'm going to do a book review on this one later in the channel. I have two more here. So this one is The Mindful Way Through Depression. So I like this one because it's really trying to help the individual, the client, understand what mindfulness is. And it goes really in depth on how to explain this. It also has some activities geared more towards older students, I would say, or older clients. But this is like, I like this chapter, Mindfulness in Everyday, which is taking a breathing space. And it'll show you the 3-minute breathing space activity and how to walk your clients through that. Even more, I like that there's a CD attached to this book in the back. There's 7 guided meditation practices in here, everything from body scans to yoga. So I really like that this is very applicable, something you can literally pop in to a CD player or something and start working through some interventions with your client. This one is really fun, and this one I was excited to get my hands on. This is Activities That Teach. These are 60 hands-on, and you know I love hands-on activities. Students learn best by doing. I know I actually am like a tangible learner. I'm gonna round out the district given books that I've gotten because I really feel like these are the most applicable. I have one more to go, and this is a huge one. This is actually the very first one that I got in my district, and this is the Pre-Referral Intervention Manual, and this is a 4th edition. I really like this one because it's very, very thorough. It's not that I use this every day, but I like having it there in case, like just as a backup. So this is something great to get, just more for peace of mind. Okay, so let me give you an example of how it breaks things down, because there is everything. This is really was given to both the counselors and the social workers. So right here, it breaks everything down by different interventions. So reading, right, writing, more academics, which is really important for school social workers. And then it also has the behavioral, interpersonal relationships, depression, motivation, and we'll go into the depression motivation one. I'm gonna give you an example. So a big one for us is absences, right, attendance. So here, behavior number 142 has unexcused absences. So then you head to 367. And yes, I've been to this page several times. It's not that this is going to work for every single client, but it's a good starting off point. So here we have it, right? Has unexcused absences. And what you see up here is provide the students, and it has a bunch of different interventions to try. You can almost use this as a checklist. Yeah, there's 29 different interventions. So number 14, have the parent bring the student to school, right? So there's some interventions that are super easy, you know, but you want to kind of make sure you check everything off. Number 19, reduce the emphasis on competition. Repeated failure may cause a student to be absent to avoid competitive situations. So some of these on here are things that we've never really thought about. We think that competition type of games or competition intervention styles, I've even shared one earlier in a video, which worked pretty well, but understand that that's not going to be universal across the board because clients are coming with different issues. And I like number 19 because it's actually saying reduce that emphasis on competition between students or grade levels or whatnot, because some students can actually avoid school altogether because of that competitive nature of the situation. So it's always kind of good to have this to make sure you're thinking and checking all the boxes. Okay, now I want to move into, I'm going to share a free resource that has actually helped me in just a bit, a little later in the video, but I do want to show you some of the stuff that I've saved from graduate school. I did go to UT Austin, and so I did save the materials there. 2 of them, actually, I'm going to share today. No, yeah, I think I have 2 just for now. So these more, since they are from graduate school, are not as applicable. This is one that I've utilized a lot, which is helping the bereaved child. I use this in my grief class. I even still have my little note card of what they wanted me to read. And I feel like this comes in handy because if the professor felt it important enough to highlight it, then now I can actually go back and read those and utilize these readings to apply them. And another, just heard a vibration, is this ethnocultural aspects of post-traumatic stress disorder. And I like this one because it goes through the issues, it also has the research, and then it has the clinical applications to keep in mind. Now, this course that I took several years ago, I felt like was way ahead of their time, since now we're talking a lot about systemic racism and historical trauma. That's what this is all about. So this is PTSD and related stress disorder among Hispanics, right? Latinos, Latinx. Along with that, I'm going to pull out another book that I did purchase myself after taking that course on historical trauma, which is this 500 years of Chicano history in pictures. And this one I purchased and I utilized with some students in order to teach them about not only historical trauma, because it's tough to get into those topics, but more historical resilience. So I really like this book because of the visuals. I like it because of the timeline. A lot of us are not aware of our different histories. So if you're working with Latinx communities, Latinx students, then this is really, I feel like, a good place to start, especially with high school, maybe upper junior high, like 8th grade. All right, so, and lastly, I do want to feature some of the books that were recommended to me from my Instagram community, the social work community over there. I'm going to pop them on the screen and kind of let you know. I haven't read each one of these, but each one of these are highly recommended. So it's always great. I want to give you more information than what you thought you were going to get. And then finally, I want to be sure to tell you about these free resources. I print these out. These are completely free as long as you get on this mailing list at GoZen. So GoZen is actually a psychologist, I believe. So she has these different journals that she creates, and these are really great to print out and to use with, I feel like, all levels. But let me give you an example. So this is one on empathy. So in your shoes, right? And so for this one, it says find someone you know well or not so well, and find out 5 things you never knew about them, and ask them about their daily routine, their challenges, books they're reading, and write in 5 things you learned below. So this is an activity that they can do with a friend, or maybe in a group, or classroom activity, something like that. So I feel like this is really good stuff, really applicable stuff, especially starting off. We don't have a lot of money to spend on resources and books. These are all free. This is another galaxy breathing. So this is like teaching meditation and mindfulness, and reframing this actually in a way that's going to engage students and younger learners. This one is like harness the power of breath, and then you can see how it's teaching them through breath of the ocean. I really like these activities. Again, they're completely free, and I'll link them down below as well. So these are all the books that we went over today, and then some. There's a few more, but thank you for tuning in. I hope that these books help you out. If you have some that are not, and I'm sure you do, some more resources that were not in this video, please put them in the comments below so we can help each other out and continue to help our population of students in schools, especially now, because it's needed. Until next time, I'm wishing you social work success. Thanks so much for watching.